So this entire trip came about just because I wanted to see the Northern Lights. I've never seen them. I've tried before, and my sister-in-law heard me talking about it, and she pointed out that there was a site you could go to sign up for notifications when there were solar storms going on, and with the solar storms, then the band for how far north you have to go to see the Northern Lights gets lower. And that sounded great to me because I don't want to drive way too far north to see it. I mean, some of my other options would be to drive up into the upper parts of Michigan or drive into Maine, stay in the US. That would be fun, but I have a passport. Canada's right there. Why not just hop in the car and drive to Canada? So, on the positive side, it kept me from going last week when I would have seen absolutely nothing. Because the solar activity was low, the storm wasn't coming far enough south to see it. This week, in theory, there's a solar storm that's hitting today and into tomorrow that should bring that solar band down lower to the point where it'll be around the Toronto-ish area, but there's so much light pollution you can't see anything. So the trick is, outside of Toronto, it's about an hour and a half northwest of Toronto, there's this park that's a dark park is what it's called, and it's a place where people go because it's preserved specifically. It's far enough away from all the big city lights, so it's a dark spot where people can go with their telescopes and sit up and look. There's hiking trails and things like that around the park as well, but the big thing for it is it's a dark park, which means it's dark enough that in theory I should be able to see the Northern Lights. Now, the weather also plays into it. So tonight it's snowing right now. The cloud cover is pretty big. I'm probably not going to be able to see anything, which stinks, but I kind of knew that was probably going to be the case. When I looked at the weather today, it showed that not going to see anything tonight most likely. I'm still going to probably try, but tomorrow around 2:30 in the morning, the solar storm's supposed to be going on, which would make that band come down so I might be able to see the aurora. And then on top of that, the storm and the weather's supposed to break, and there should be a clear sky for a while. So it would be the best opportunity to try and see it for right now. I have no clue if I'm going to actually going to get to see the Northern Lights, but I know I won't see them if I stay in Pittsburgh. And I had nothing else major planned right now, so why not try and come down, or why not try and go north and see the Northern Lights? Alright, so I have stopped at the dark park, and now I'm on my way to check out the city of Gravenhurst. It sounds fun. I play a card game called Gloom sometimes, where you create stories for your characters, trying to kill them off in the most horrific way possible. And Gravenhurst seems like the type of name of a city for a character in Gloom to go to and die. But so far, all the little towns and stuff I've driven through in the area are just gorgeous. And so I would highly recommend anyone looking for somewhere pretty to go during the winter, come on up to Ontario, Canada. It's been gorgeous country I've been driving through. You know, there's been some snowy conditions, but the roads were well kept. There were plows all over the highways last night. The little hotel, it's a little motel. It's what you'd expect from a motel. It's not a high-end place or anything like that, but it's a gorgeous little place, and it was a little bit more than $50 US per night. And it's just been fun to make this little random road trip. I think that's going to be one of my little categories. Alright, let's get out of the slush in the road. But I think that's going to be one of my categories for my YouTube channel. I'm just going to create a series of videos for my random road trips. So include the inauguration, this trip, and we'll see where else I end up traveling throughout the year for sure. It's funny, this road is actually plowed better than the ones I've been on previous, and it's making it harder to drive than when it was just a solid base layer of snow. There we go. If I keep the left tire in the plowed area and the right tire in the snow, we're good. But yeah, so we're going to head to Gravenhurst to see what's around there. And then after that, I'm going to head to the city of Orilla. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. But the city of Orilla. And honestly, the only reason I really want to head into that city in particular is on one of the travel apps I downloaded, it said that there's a TARDIS there. So I'm assuming that there's a phone box and someone just called it a TARDIS, but I want to go and see what someone has labeled as a TARDIS. And it's pretty close to a shopping center, so we'll head there. One of my goals is I want to get a picture of myself and get something from Canada's supermarket, or Canada's Supercenter, just because it's Canadian, and travel around. I think for the end of my trip, so tomorrow afternoon, I might, as I'm swinging by Toronto, head in and go to the Hockey Hall of Fame, the NHL Hall of Fame, just because I'm going to be going by Toronto, so why not, right? That's what these random road trips are about, just random adventures. You know, pick out a place, head towards it. I don't even necessarily have the greatest plans, and that's what's making these road trips a little bit different than stuff I've done in the past, and partially what's making it a little bit more fun for me. In the past, I would meticulously plan out, here's where I'm going, here's my plans, here's what's going to happen. And these ones, honestly, I'm picking a destination, we're just going for it. So this one, I had researched, I'd found out about the dark park. I literally hopped on to kayak.com, put in the map view of where the dark park was, zoomed out until I saw some listings, found the cheapest one I could reasonably go for, and picked it, and hence that's where we're headed. And so that was all of the planning I did. I had a fun conversation with the border guard last night as I was coming into Canada, and I just told him I was coming up to see the Northern Lights. When I explained where I was going, he was surprised you could see them from there. I explained about how, you know, the solar activity was going on, there's a solar wind and it's causing extra particles, so hopefully I'll be able to see it with a break in the weather. If the clouds stay even like they are now, it should be gorgeous tonight. And worst case scenario, I don't see the Northern Lights, but I get a great view of the night sky. So tonight should be a lot of fun, and we'll check in with you once we get to Gravenhurst. Alright, so we're in the outskirts of Gravenhurst. It looks like this is a great little town that's on the lake, or on a lake here, normally. But Muscobilly is at Lakeside Tap and Grill. But I'm here, there's a Boston Pizza over there. I'm not sure what that is, but I came here to show a couple things. First of all, the lake is frozen over, and it looks like someone's cleared a space for maybe doing some ice skating or ice fishing. But the other thing was, they've got these steamships, and I'd actually be interested in coming up here during the rest of the year and see what these steamships do. It looks like they're just meant for going from one side of the lake to the other, but fun little just lakeside town. But yeah, so Gravenhurst, so far, not very grave. In fact, a little bit more fun. But yeah, so just wanted to show what's going on, and gonna head into the rest of the city. But for my little GoPro here, I just bought a smaller original version that I could wrap around the rear view mirror in my car, and it's allowing me to record this with my GoPro that way. And the nice thing is I also have a cable I was able to just extend up and plug in, so I'm charging it through USB as I'm recording. So hopefully that will work out. I'm going to take a picture of the setup here in a minute once I stop. My plan right now is I'm going to go get some food, and I'm going to eat. I'm going to head back to my hotel and then go to sleep for a little bit, because still looks like I might be able to see the aurora tonight. However, I'll be able to see it around 3 to 6 a.m. So with that being the time frame I'm looking at for actually seeing the aurora, I'm going to take a nice nap now, and then that way I will be ready to go at around 2 in the morning, and I can drive out and get to the spot I'm looking for and be there from 3 to 6 and hopefully see some aurora. But we won't know for sure until we actually see at 3 this morning. But alright, so I'm here. I'm gonna go in and get some food, and then I'm gonna head back to the hotel, get some sleep, and head on out. Later. All right, so I went in, had dinner at Boston Pizza, which is the closest thing in the U.S. I could think of is like a Pizza Hut. Not bad, chain pizza, but it's definitely better than Pizza, which I had the last time I was in Canada. But now I'm going to head back to my hotel, get a couple hours of sleep, so I can be up at around 2 in the morning to get ready and head out to the Terrence Barron's Dark Sky Park so I can try and see the aurora, hopefully. But while I was in the restaurant, it began snowing again. So I've just turned on my car, it's heating up, and then I've got the I got out, brushed all the snow off, and I'm going to head back to the hotel. I'm going to set you guys up so you can look out and see what the road conditions are like. It's not horrible, but it's definitely a little snowy and a little fun to drive in. So I'm going to turn you around and let you guys see what's going on. Time to head out, see if we can see some northern lights. After sitting here for a while, watching the clouds come in, I checked the weather again, and what was supposed to be a time where it was clear and there wasn't going to be a whole lot of snow cover or cloud cover, that's all changed in the forecast. It's supposed to be overcast for the rest of the night now. I also missed some of the best viewing time because I had confused the fact that they were using UTC versus EST, and so I missed the first hour, which was when the most activity was going on. So, unfortunately, I did not see the Northern Lights tonight. I downloaded some more apps while I was sitting here then that shows me that I had about a 10 to 15% chance of seeing it at the best time. At this point, it's saying for the rest of the night, my chance is 0. So, I think I'm going to head back to my hotel room, get some sleep, and then just plan for some fun tomorrow on my trip back. I'm definitely swinging by Toronto. I think I'm going to try and swing by a Bass Pro Shop on my way there, and also maybe stop at the Hockey Hall of Fame. But a little disappointed I didn't get to see any of the Northern Lights, but it's given me some more information. It's given me some new apps I can use to try and check into this more. I've not given up. This is going to be the year I get to see the Northern Lights. That is one of my new goals for the year, is to go see the Northern Lights at some point, somehow. I don't know how, I'm not sure, but we're going to make it happen this year. I'm going to see the Northern Lights. Well, a little bit disappointed. Evidently, the Real Canadian Superstore is basically Canada's version of Walmart. And I say that because they even have President's Choice products there, which is very similar to Walmart and their products. However, I didn't let that deter me, and I wandered around for a little bit looking to see if they had anything that had a Canadian flag on it. I know for Walmart, if you wander through the clothing section, you can find stuff with American flags on it, and I was like, all right, maybe they've got something with Canada on it. They did not. So I had to think, and I discovered, and I thought about it, and I decided, well, what's more Canadian than maple syrup? So I did buy some of the President's Choice pure maple syrup, grade A dark, which is actually supposed to be what the old grade B maple syrup was, which is supposed to be some of the more flavorful stuff. But not only that, but I also noticed another flavor of maple syrup that I was very interested in. It was the smoky bacon flavored maple syrup, also President's Choice. So I bought the two of those, figuring it was the most Canadian thing I could find to buy at the Supercenter. So now it's off to the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I will check in once we're there. Wandering through the Hall of Fame, I'll probably take one of my cameras with me. We'll get a little bit of footage of some stuff, and let's go Pens.
All right, here we are out in front of the Spirit of Hockey store and into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Let's go Pens.
All right, Hockey Hall of Fame done. It was a fun time. I didn't shoot as much video or anything inside of there, but I did get some pictures of the Stanley Cup. Got pictures of the 4 times the Penguins are listed on the cup. I just kind of got some pictures of some memorabilia. Sat and watched a video or two inside there, so now it's time to head home. I'm waiting for my Canadian Border Travel app to load up so I can see what the border times are, so I can decide whether I should head home using Buffalo or Niagara.
Alright, so I decided to make a little stop off at Niagara Falls. So behind me is the American Falls. Then over here we have the Horseshoe Falls, which is what most people think of when they think of Niagara Falls. So here's the Canadian Falls, also known as Horseshoe Falls, but they're red, white, and red for Canada. And then over here we have the American Falls, red, white, and blue. So a fun little side trip off into Niagara Falls. So we hit up the Hockey Hall of Fame, decided to come through Niagara Falls just so that I could get a view of some of the falls and see what's going on. But this is bringing it into my random road trip for tonight because I'm probably going to hit the duty-free shop, see if there's anything I need in there, but then I'm heading home to Pittsburgh. I'll edit the videos together and hopefully get this up in the next day or two. I also need to finish getting the video together from the inauguration, which was my first random road trip. But kicking off 2017 well, 2 random road trips, and we're only on the 2nd of February. So hopefully we can keep this trend up and have a great night. And when my quad comes in on Saturday, we'll probably get the next video up. So have a great night. God bless.